everybody, it's Binge the Body Whisperer. You can see that I'm pretty sweaty right now. Just finished doing the stairs at my apartment, so that again, I've been doing those this week. My goal was to do those this week, wake up, do those this week, and do 12 minutes and then stretch, because coming off of the dengue fever, but then I had the 30 days, which was originally my plan was to do the 30 days just to get back into it, get the joints warmed up, get everything moving. Then I wanted to start a program where I was gonna get back into power lifts, not necessarily heavy at first, get into the movements again, continue to work on, keeping this area, lower back into the hip flexors, for me, and into the rib case. There seems to be tightness, so it's like continuing to just kind of get that moving, get those loosened up. After I do something like stairs, I can tell that it's loosened up. Usually wake up in the morning and it's tighter. So again, my original goal is to do the 30 days just as like get back into it, because I had been off for about 2 months, right? So simple, just keep something simple to keep moving. Then I ended up getting dengue, went on a vacation to India, and then got dengue fever. So that 30 days, which was still in there, was kind of, it wasn't a race, because I can tell that getting back into this is easier. So there was still some muscle memory there. So that's good. But it did kind of knock me out for close to almost 3 weeks, I'd say. So now I decided I want to pick up a little bit more, full on than just the 12 minutes, because I feel like I was ready for it, and I was going to go into doing more weightlifting or more like body weight, but a little bit more intense. So what I decided to do is say 7 days, get back into it, work out every day of the week. And that consisted of waking up and walking just to loosen stuff up, doing stairs, at least 1 round up, 25 floors, then doing my 12 minutes. So what's kind of evolved into, and I'm feeling pretty good about it, is I still do my walk in the morning, but then I do 2 sets of stairs, so that's 50 stories, 100 if you count down and up. And going down is easier, but just this, there is a little bit to that. And then I do the 12 minutes. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Again, I'm not going, so since I did a bunch of leg stuff, I put together 10 things that are mostly either stretching or upper body stuff, or kind of core moving things. Since I did so much, I can feel my legs are a little bit wobbly from doing the stairs. So I'm gonna do 12 minutes, so it's the 10 on, 1, so it's 10, 1 minute on. You know the drill. If you're new, watch some of the previous episodes. You'll go back to finding either 1 of 30, 2 of 30. I don't do all of them because I miss some because of traveling, but I either to write in and say, hey, this is what I did for my 18 of 30. But then I also miss some days. For the 1 of, I didn't do a 1 of 7 or a 2 of 7, but I did do 3, 4 of 7, and now today is 5 of 7. So, but I did some other videos. I don't think I was calling them that at the time, or I just wrote, this is what I'm doing. Sound good? Cool. So I'm gonna start this right now. Yeah, cool, awesome, yes. Okay. So first off, I'm gonna just do a bent over stretch because I just did that, did those stairs. So I'm just gonna roll down the spine. And there I can feel that there is some movement in this portion of my back. I can tell that it's tight. I can tell my hamstrings are tight. So After I get done with the 10 minutes or the 12 minutes, I will do some stretching and focus on hamstrings. You can put your right hand on your left elbow, your left hand on your right elbow, and just wherever you're at, if you're here, just breathe into that whole rib cage, breathe into those, it's more of an imagination, breathe into those hamstrings and just sway side to side, right? Okay, and rolling up the spine, great. Now I'm gonna do, once this break is over, I'm doing T push-up. So get through that. I'm a little shaky, which is cool. Now we're gonna do twist. So find a nice easy stance. You're reaching up, and think about as if you were swinging. If you ever played any sports where you swung, or even golf, it's about moving the hips as well, not just this, it's this. It's that engaging from way down here, twisting all the way around, right? And twisting, 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 twisting. 3, 2, 1. Cool. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna take off my socks too. I'm kind of feeling when I was twisting. Now we're gonna do 3, 2, 1 inchworm. So taking your time to inch out. And coming back up. I'm holding for maybe about a 10 count. Keep those legs straight. That's what I found best to kind of get the, it's about, and wherever you get to, like I can go all the way to my toes and then come up, but wherever you need to, you know, go down if it's kind of further out, and that's where you can start locking your hands, so be it. Now, if you can only get to maybe, let's say here, and then it's too much, you can drop to your knees, push yourself up, and then bring yourself up into a stance. The thing about this is, it's not so much like I am breathing a little bit heavy. That's because I can engage muscles and I know where I'm at in space. But if this is new to you, take your time, don't overdo it. It's not about breathing heavy at the end of this. So dropping down into a squat, again, this is another example of be where you're at. You might only be able to get down to here, but that's okay. You can play around with your spine in this position. If you need a break, come back up and then go down to wherever. If it's here, I wouldn't, if you need to put weight on your hands, you're kind of defeating the purpose. So I would take the break rather than putting any weight. So go down. See, for me, I can go, I have enough flexibility in my, this is mostly about flexibility in your Achilles, like the tendon for the calf muscle, and it's lost in a lot of people because we don't necessarily do it as a culture. Whereas like in a lot of Asian cultures, it's practiced. Like most kids you can see can do it, but then it's kind of lost over time. Man, I'm out of breath. Okay, so now I'm gonna do for 2 minutes. I'm gonna do basically, so go into kind of a high plank, dropping down into chaturanga, and then coming up into downward dog. And paddle your feet out, so this is the first one that you're doing. Again, this is another great way of over time stretching out those calf muscle, Achilles, just getting the flexibility back in there. And then we're just going to go into, just to kind of change it up, just hover. Then we're dropping to the ground, raising the hands and the feet. So you're engaging this back muscle here, dropping down, and then go into a full cobra. Toes under, going back into downward dog. All right, so we're in a break. But what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna do that same thing again, but staying in cobra just a little bit longer, kind of opposite of what I just did, which was staying in downward dog a little longer. And coming back up, just doing the back, hands up, feet up, back down, and then going just into kind of a mini cobra, and then full cobra, looking up to the ceiling, and then coming down. And then we're gonna just step in between, dropping down, coming halfway up, dropping down, and then coming back in. So moving into hands, feet go back, dropping down chaturanga, letting go, going down the ground, raising the back, and letting go, and up small cobra, and now we're moving into full cobra, looking up to the corner of your ceiling. We're just looking up, and then coming back down into a downward dog, and walking your feet up to the top of the mat, and that's it. I went a little bit long there. Okay, so going down. Now we're gonna do a V-sit. And we're gonna go down. Hopefully you can still see me. I'm going into basically boat, making like a concave. So if you're to hit yourself in the stomach, you've got that. Take your time. If it's too much, relax. And think of stretching. Stretch your fingers as far out as you can in your toes. And then we're gonna come back up into that boat position. Remembering we're creating with our feet. I'm gonna just put my hands back so I can describe it. So you're creating kind of a point, think of energy flowing through your toe. So that's what you're doing I'm just gonna go a little bit longer, but that's what you're doing. Thinking of doing that as you're trying to maintain that kind of, that V-sit or like a champagne glass. Okay, downward dog, cobra, V-sit, TheraBand. So I grabbed my TheraBand, so I'm gonna just do that. I missed about the first 10 seconds of this, which again, I usually wear TheraBand, which I lost one of my TheraBands, so I don't have as much, it's not as difficult as it used to be, so I'll have to get some new ones. or another one. But I typically go for about 30 of these, and then I do some stretches over my head, and that's usually far within the time. And then what I'll usually do is, what I like is that it gives me a little bit of tension on my chest, pulling, kind of like opening up that chest, and then I'll just do some more of those. And then again, just do some up and over, and we're on break now. And then I did this yesterday, and I'm gonna do it again today, is TheraBand shrugs. So what I'm gonna do is today, try and keep it even. And what I'm gonna probably do is go for about 15 seconds and then take a little bit of a breather and then do 15 seconds again, and then maybe take about 10 seconds and then finish off with 5. Okay, that's good. That was a little more than 15. That was more like 20 seconds. So try and make this even with where your feet are, and do and this is kind of the upper back, the traps. You could even do like a stretch that neck out, stretch the neck out to the other side, right? Okay, 2, 1. Great. So that's it for today for me. So I did the 2 sets of stairs, did my 12, and then I'm gonna just stretch. Maybe what I'll do is stop this video, and then what I might do is record my stretch, kind of some of the things that I'm doing, so that you can kind of see. But it can be kind of a separate thing. So I'll just describe my stretching. So keep moving, people. Benji the Body Whisperer out.